Hi, I'm Jim Rawcliffe of More Takes, and I'd like to tell you a little bit about our Captivator range of attractor baits. In a minute I'm going to be showing you how they perform underwater, but first here's a little bit about the baits themselves. So the Captivators have been made with a modern approach to carp angling in mind, where a bait often has to work much more quickly and in a wider variety of waters. There are three baits in the range. First is the crowberry, which obviously has a fishy smell but with a top note of summer berries. Then there's the vanilla maple, which has a rich creamy smell. And finally the tandoori salmon, which is obviously a fish mix but with garlic and eastern spices. The baits come in 14 and 18mm shelf life, and each mix has its own 14mm dedicated clone pop-up and 150ml elixir dip. All the ingredients in the base mix are in the pop-ups, and everything in the elixir dip also goes into the base mix, including our golden cane 3-way super sweetener. The baits also contain soy isolates, milk proteins, etc., just like our other range of baits. So once the baits are rolled, they are then re-glugged with more elixir dip, and this is to provide maximum attraction as soon as they hit the water. When the water starts to penetrate the outer skin of the bait, then all the attractors are released from within the bait itself. So the Captivators use food industry flavours rather than just chemical flavours, so they taste like they smell, and the carp seem to like this because the results we've had are much better than expected. And if you head over to our main More Takes Facebook page or join the More Takes Occurring group, you can get a look at how they've been performing since they were released only a couple of months ago, just at the start of the winter. Okay, so I know that's possibly a little different to the conventional way of thinking about attractor baits, but it's basically the way I think an attractor bait should be, and so far the carp seem to be agreeing with me. Anyway, that's enough for that. Let's get on to the interesting bit where we see how they perform in water. Okay, this is a simulation of what happens when you cast in your Captivator clone pop-up and put out some Captivator freebies. So we're going to put the pop-up in first. That goes in a nice position. It's just on a simulated rig with a size 2 and a 14mm pop-up, and now I'm going to put some bottom baits in as well. You can already see that the pop-up is immediately starting to leak some of the elixir dip that it's been soaked in, and it's not so obvious on the bottom baits because it's obviously all going down, but we'll come back in a minute and see if it's made a difference. Okay, we're now at 5 minutes, and as you can see the pop-up continues to drain. Okay, we're at 10 minutes now. The pop-up continues to drain. I should just say that the pop-up is obviously made with all the base mix ingredients but the pop-up material as well, and so it reacts in a slightly different way. The bottom baits are starting to seep pink, but if you look very closely you can see that the water in the bottom baits is now clouding up to be a more pink, and that's basically because a lot of the other attractors within the elixir dip are lighter and the colour is heavier. Okay, we're now at half an hour and the pop-up continues to drain, whereas the bottom baits jar is now getting more pink. This is happening because the bottom baits are spread across the bottom of the jar, and certain of the elements in the elixir dip which are lighter are lifting the colour throughout the water course. Okay, we're now just over the hour, and I think I'm going to bring this demonstration to a close at this point. You can see the pop-up continues to drain elixir dip, and hopefully you can see the jar on the left, which is considerably more coloured. The The bottom baits have released their elixir dip coating, and also it's coming from inside the bait itself, and all those attractors are now being dispersed throughout the watercourse. Okay, finally, I'd just like to say, as I do with all these demonstrations actually, this is being carried out indoors in a temperature of somewhere between 18 and 20 degrees, and so the performance of these baits will vary according to the different water conditions that you're fishing in, but hopefully it'll give you a general idea of how they can perform. Okay, that's the end of our introduction to the new range of Captivator attractor baits. I hope you found it of some interest, and I should thank you for taking the time to watch it. See you next time. Bye bye.